Moonfall.
Excellent. Good.
Which is the latest from Roland Emmerich, the master of disaster, I suppose, having taken over the title from Irwin Allen. You know, Irwin Allen, who was the guy who gave us, all those things like, Poseidon Adventure and all that stuff.
The Disaster Master.
The Disaster Master, Master of Disaster. So Emmerich is he's an auteur. He's worked with Jason Isaacs behind Stargate, Independence Day, Day After Tomorrow, 2012, Midway, Moon 44, age and age ago, and now Moonfall. So the film had a budget of around 146 million, so, solid budget. Apparently one of the most expensive independent films ever produced. Starts off as a rip-off of Gravity and The Martian, with Brian, Patrick Wilson, and Joe, Halle Berry, in space, doing some stuff, listening to some vintage pop. Here's a clip.
What does it even mean to miss the rains down in Africa?
The lyrics are, I bless the rains down in Africa.
What? No, they're not.
Yes they are.
It makes even less sense.
Well, I should know, because I karaoke'd it at my wedding.
Ah, well, I must have missed that. I was in the zone, tearing it up on the dance floor.
You can't dance to save your life.
Anyone ever tell you guys you bicker like an old married couple?
It's 'cause she's my work wife. Back to work, rookie. Can never do. I miss the rain down in Africa. I would like to thank you for spending your honeymoon in space with us.
It was either space or Italy. But Italy doesn't beat this view.
If you'd like to choose Toto by Africa or Request Friday, you can call me later.
Okay, so they're in space and around listening to Toto, so it's Gravity meets The Martian. Suddenly, gloopy globules of black nodular space stuff.
Oh, no.
Big come rushing past and cause massive gravity-style destruction. The thing all smashed up. They lose a crew member.
Oh.
They lose a crew member. So then they have to find their way back to Earth. When they get back to Earth, Brian says, we were in space, big, massive, gloopy stuff knocked us out of the thing, and we lost a crew member. And they go, we're not buying this, matey boy. You're making all this stuff up. And they say to Joe, that could have been a solar flare, couldn't it? And she says, no. And they go, could it? She went, well, all right, maybe. Cut to 10 years later. His life has fallen apart. He's now drinking too much, fixing up cars, dodging his rent. But he's called back into action when the moon starts to...
fall.
That's the money. The moon starts to fall. Okay. And how does he know the moon starts to fall?
Because Toto recorded
Because Toto's on the thing. Because a conspiracy theorist called Casey, who is who's played by John Bradley, Casey Houseman, gets in touch and says, okay, the reason that the moon is falling out of the sky and you must do something about it is because the moon is a mega structure. It's not a moon, it's a mega structure. And therefore and he's a mega structuralist. He's a conspiracy theorist.
What is a megastructure?
Somebody who believes in megastructures.
Okay.
And so a megastructuralist, a megastructurist. Anyway, he gets in touch and says, you've got to do this, the moon is full of... And then Brian says, no, because you're a tin hat conspiracy theory. But then NASA get in touch and go, the moon has come out of its orbit and is falling. Let's call it a moonfall. What are we going to do? I know, let's send people up into space to see whether they can stop the moon falling out of the sky. We better get you and Joe and... probably get the guy who's the mad conspiracy theorist because he thinks the moon is made of cheese or something, and then you can go up there and do the stuff. So, because at first nobody believes him, but then in about 5 seconds flat, everybody believes him. The next thing, they're all headed back into space with the nutjob conspiracy theorist who tells us, for reasons best known only to him, that he has irritable bowel syndrome.
Excellent.
So, meanwhile, down on Earth, so up in the moon, the irritable bowel syndrome...
You don't want IBS if you've got a spacesuit on, do you?
Exactly. Moon made of cheese or maybe a megastructure. Down on Earth, everybody responds to the imminent end of the Earth by doing what they do in disaster movies. I must reconcile all my family problems immediately. I must reconcile with my wife or my ex-wife or my previous wife or my parents. And I must also, because Roland Emmerich can't decide, one film isn't enough. So whilst the moon made of cheese or space cheese with full of the black globular stuff with the guy with irritable bowel syndrome is happening, down on Earth, there's a car chase with snow and a shootout like Grand Theft Auto because there's not enough happening up in space. And entire cities and stuff is getting smashed down and destroyed by the fact that because the moon is now close enough to the Earth that gravity's gone backwards. So the sea becomes the sky, and then a helicopter is flying underwater in the sky, and all this stuff is happening, but they have to turn the electricity off because somehow the moon is responding to. And I'm sitting there. I'm in this cinema in Southampton. There are 4 people in the cinema, and I think I'm having more fun than anyone else in the cinema because this has got. It's like Roland Emmerich was thinking, what am I going to do? Am I going to rip off, Gravity? Am I going to rip off, that film, The Martian, with the thing? Or maybe, I don't know, maybe I like Lars von Trier's Melancholia, or maybe Event Horizon. Yeah, there's a bit of Event Horizon in there. And maybe, I'll do a bit of Stanley Kubrick's 2001, and then Sharknado. I'll do Sharknado. And it's, the level of stupid is so brilliant that it's almost magnificent. I mean, it's terrible. It's the stupidest film I have ever seen in my whole life, and I'm grinning from ear to ear. There's a moment in it in which there's 2 characters, there's a car chase, and they're shooting at each other, and they go bang, 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 and then Michael Pena puts his hand in the car and he goes, "They're shooting at us," and you go, I know. We literally saw that was what the bullets coming through the thing was, that they're shooting at you. This is all happening down the ground, and then you cut back up into space made of cheese and the globular stuff happening, and like things happen in about 2 seconds. So there's a spaceship and it can't take off because one of the engines isn't working, but that's all right because gravity's upside down and the sea is in the sky, and then the moon's gonna rise and the oceans are gonna fall, and I start. You're going, wow. I mean, really, wow. At some point, somebody must have had a script meeting and gone, Roland, I'm not entirely sure about all of this working. I think you've got 5 different movies going on. And he's going, I don't care. We get to destroy this city. We get to destroy that city. We get to blow up that planet. We get to do this thing. And then there's the thing in space. If you had dreamed this movie up after eating way too much cheese and then gone to sleep having had several snifters of Japanese whiskey, you would have been hard pushed. I mean, the script is like it's been written by an Alexa. It does have the line, "You're telling me that the moon is the biggest cover-up in human history?" I mean, it's like somebody went, Alexa, write me a really, really bad science fiction script. It can say anything at all, but it's called Moonfall. It's called Moonfall. I don't care what you do. It's called Moonfall. Just do that. And everyone in the film is like, okay, let's just, okay, the laws of gravity have gone out of the window. The laws of drama have gone out of the window. The laws of common sense have packed up their belongings and are fleeing for the hills, which even now are being destroyed by an outtake from a Lars von Trier art movie. I mean, there's one point during this chase sequence in which it genuinely looks like a computer game. It genuinely, like cars jumping over, like there's things fall down and they jump from mountain to mountain and thing, and then do you remember how Independence Day ended with Randy Quaid
doing that speech?
Well, it's Randy Quaid flying into the...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But how the whole world will have its Independence Day.
No, that's not Randy Quaid. That's the president.
I was thinking Randy Quaid was the president.
No, Randy Quaid is the guy who's in the jet that flies it. It is Randy Quaid, isn't it? I think it's Randy Quaid. Now you're making me die. Anyway, the pilot who flies into the alien's donut. Yeah. Anyway, so he
puts the wind up the alien's donut.
He pumps the wind into the alien's donut.
Yes, and we're all free again.
Well,
is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So there is, I mean, honestly, watching this, it makes Geostorm look like a low-key but hard-hitting documentary about climate change.
But you'd see it again, wouldn't you?
I don't know if the second time round it could ever possibly live up to the I mean, it was like my brain turned to like sewage and was trickling out of my ear.
As a thought.
You're kind of in the presence of this thing is so radioactively dumb that you know that thing in Altered States when he gets into the sensory deprivation chamber and he reverts to an earlier form of mankind That's what I felt like. I felt like I'd actually gone back 3 species generations. I was walking on all fours and picking, fleas off my... I mean, it's...
I kind of want to see it now.
Yeah. Yeah. And I kind of don't want to discourage you.
Okay.
It's so bad.
Do you think that they had a production meeting? Not
Answer,
stop.
no.
They had a production meeting where somebody said, you know that Adele song? Do you think we could...
Oh, humble.
Can we just get her to sing the word moon and then we'll just edit that over into the...
And of course, the other thing it does as well is it's one of those films that believes that, tin hat conspiracy theorists are right.
Ah.
And may I just say for the record,
They're not.
they're not.